Welcome back, everybody. My name is Tucker, and today NBA and Lakers Twitter is absolutely on fire after the Lakers lost another very winnable game last night, this time to the Memphis Grizzlies in their quest to make the playoffs in the Western Conference. And this has been a theme of their season ever since LeBron James went down with an injury, as well as since he's come back. They just have not been able to turn it on and figure it out when they've really needed to, and right now, their chances of making the playoffs are not looking all that great, and some people are even questioning the move for LeBron to come to LA in the first place. And as a result, I wanted to make this video today talking about whether or not the Lakers really should even be trying to make the playoffs at this stage of the season. Now, I understand that that sounds a little bit crazy, but I have some reasoning for this, I promise. Just stick around and let me explain to you why this might actually be more beneficial for the Lakers to stop trying to make the playoffs rather than make this push. So let's talk about where the Lakers stand right now. As of this video, they are 4 games behind the Clippers and 3 games behind the Spurs for the 7th and 8th spots in the Western Conference respectively, and they just lost to the Grizzlies without Jaren Jackson, the Pelicans without Anthony Davis, and then prior to the All-Star break, the Atlanta Hawks. And these are teams that aren't even trying to win games. None of these teams really want to win. They're trying to tank. They're trying to get a good draft pick. And the Lakers are in a position where they need to be winning as many games as possible. They can't be losing games to these kinds of teams if they want to make the playoffs, and this is supposed to be the time in which LeBron has activated his playoff intensity and his playoff mode, and they're still losing these kinds of games. And there are just so many things going wrong here. The Lakers are 1-4 in their last 5 games. LeBron's defensive effort for 90% of the season has been completely awful. The Lakers aren't good at all defensively as a team, and like I said, they're losing games to teams that don't even want to win at this point in the season. And so the question is it really worth it for the LA Lakers to make this push and try and make the playoffs? And the first thing that comes to mind here is just that I'm really beginning to question how viable of an option 2019 free agency is going to be for the LA Lakers to continue to build this team into something that could potentially be championship caliber in LeBron James's time in LA. And really, there have been signs that this might not be all that much of an option for LA to sign big-time players in free agency ever since LeBron signed in the first place. Paul George never even took a meeting with the team, and both Kawhi Leonard and Jimmy Butler didn't really seem all that interested in playing for the Lakers when they made their trade demands. And the one guy that seems especially interested in playing in LA is Anthony Davis, and Davis isn't a free agent until 2020, and the Pelicans haven't really shown any interest at all in trading Davis to the Lakers. And so, in my opinion, there's an increasingly realistic possibility that we go through the entire 2019 offseason and the Lakers don't sign a single max contract level player, and they don't end up with Anthony Davis, and that's regardless of where they end up in the playoffs. Whether they make the playoffs or not this season is not going to increase their ability to sign a max contract level player or to trade for someone like Anthony Davis or any other star. And as a result, the Lakers might end up having to build this championship level team or try and build this championship level team around LeBron James in a completely different way than they initially thought, and that's through smart transactions, smart free agency signings, and good drafting. And if that's the case, then the team missing the playoffs this season and ending up with a lottery pick would be much more beneficial to them than just getting bounced in the first round by the Warriors or whoever they got matched up with in the first round. As of this video, the Lakers would end up with the 12th pick, obviously with a possibility for it to move up or even down depending on the lottery. And even though this isn't really the deepest draft class outside of the top 4 or 5 players, it would still be better for the Lakers to have, say, the 12th pick than the 17th, because they'd have a better opportunity to get a good young player, and that increases the value of that asset in a potential Anthony Davis trade or any other trade for a star player. Now, the trade-off of having, say, the 12th pick versus 17th is obviously, like the whole video is talking about, not making the playoffs. But what would really happen if the Lakers did manage to make the playoffs as the 7th or the 8th seed? They would probably end up facing either the Warriors or the Nuggets, depending on where they end up in the 1 and 2, as well as where the Lakers end up in the 7 or the 8. And even though I kind of like their chances against the Nuggets potentially, they have no chance of beating the Warriors. They probably win at most 1 or 2 games in the first round, depending on matchup, and then they're ending up at home after 1 playoff series, and now they're 5 spots lower in the draft for really no reason. And this is a case that some people made even prior to the season. I especially remember MDJ making a video basically saying it doesn't matter if the Lakers make the playoffs this year at all. They were never a championship caliber team before the season. They were never going to challenge the Warriors or really challenge for a top 2 seed in the West, and it really wasn't that much of a goal, at least in terms of future progression for this team unless they were able to trade for a star mid-season.
Okay, why did you have high expectations for this team? Is there a chance they miss the playoffs? Sure, I'd still pick them to make it, but bottom line, dude, if they don't make the playoffs, it's not a big deal. They're not championship contenders anyways. They built this team to succeed in 2020, not in 2019. There's a reason why they signed all these one-year deals. It's so that they could have enough cap space to grab a star free agent in the 2019 free agency, right? LeBron and Magic and the front office collectively decided upon this path. It's why they didn't trade for Kawhi Leonard, for example. And just think about it, please, right? Do you really want to see the Lakers grab the 8th seed and get swept by the Warriors in the first round? Okay, fine. They might grab the 5th seed. Why? So they can just get past the first round and get swept by the Warriors in the second round? What's the point?
And really that should be the focus, is how to move forward from here, because this team, this 2018-19 Lakers season, is essentially a lost cause. Like I said, even like best case scenario here is they end up making the playoffs and they lose in the first round. And this is, like it or not, this is kind of what LeBron signed up for when he decided to sign in LA. This was always going to take some time, especially after they weren't able to land another marquee free agent and they surrounded LeBron with some of these other guys like Rondo and Lance Stevenson. I understand that LeBron is getting up there in age, but that isn't really something that the Lakers can help at this point. Like I said, this season should just be thrown away and they should focus on the 2019-20 season, whether that be developing their young players, getting another good young player in the draft, packaging them together and trading for a star, trying to sign another free agent. Everything is about moving forward from here for the Lakers, and making the playoffs doesn't help them do that at all. And honestly, even though personally, selfishly, I would like to see the Lakers in the playoffs from an entertainment standpoint, because I feel like they could at least provide some entertainment value to the Western Conference playoffs, this is a situation that they got themselves into in terms of the front office surrounding with LeBron, with players that have never really fit around him, and in a system that's never really worked for LeBron. He's always needed a ton of shooters and they didn't have enough of those, and just how public they were about their desire to trade for Anthony Davis that basically completely cratered the team's chemistry mid-season, and now they just kind of have to deal with the situation that they're in. Now, with all that said, yes, I understand, and being realistic, that the Lakers are still going to try and make the playoffs, but I just wanted to make the case with this video that it might make more sense for them to not make the playoffs and to try and improve themselves moving forward with a better draft pick than it would be to lose to the Warriors in 5 or 6 games in the first round. Best case scenario. To put it a different way, ultimately the Lakers and LeBron James's goal is to win a championship, but this year's team is not going to be able to do that. It's not a realistic goal. So what provides more future value to this team and to this franchise? A one playoff appearance in the 2018-19 NBA season as the 7th or 8th seed, or the value of their pick in the 2019 draft being higher as a result of it being 4 or 5 spots higher in the actual draft. And that's what so many things in the NBA now are about, is future value. That's why so many teams tank now, because they realize that it doesn't really help them to be the 10th or the 9th or the 8th. They're really all the way up to the 4th and the 5th seed in their conference in the standings than it would be to just be completely awful, have a bottom 5 record in the entire league and get a really good draft pick. And that's all that the Lakers should be focusing on right now, is future value, whether that be for a trade, whether that be to get a good young player, whether that be for any reason. Right now, this team just simply isn't good enough, and whether they improve it through free agency, trading, whatever it's going to be, I honestly don't know. It's crazy how much things have changed in 9 months or so from when LeBron signed. It seemed like when he signed that the plan was very clear. They were either going to sign a player in 2019 in 2018 along with LeBron, or they were going to sign a player in 2019, or some kind of trade was going to happen. And right now, I don't know where they go from here, just because the AD thing seems like the most realistic path for them to acquire another star. But I don't really, again, know how willing the Pelicans are going to be to trade him. If they wanted to go ahead and trade him to LA, then they would have already done it at the trade deadline, because the Lakers pretty much gave them everything that they could. So AD's probably going to end up somewhere else, in my opinion. And I just don't really know who's signing with LA to play with LeBron. I don't think that any of the 2019 free agents right now have LA listed as their #1 team. And in my opinion, I don't have LA as a favorite for any of these 2019 free agents either. Kawhi Leonard is probably either going to stay in Toronto or go to the Clippers. I have no idea what Jimmy Butler's going to do, but he's probably not going to stay in Philadelphia, but he's also definitely not going to play with LeBron James. Kemba's staying in Charlotte. Kevin Durant's probably going to either the Knicks or the Clippers. And again, if you think about it and you go down the list of all the players, with the exception of maybe Klay Thompson, if things go completely awful with the Warriors, but that has very, very little likelihood, I just don't know who really is all that excited about going to play with LeBron James, with the Lakers, especially after the way this season has gone and down the stretch, with LeBron calling out his teammates and saying they need to have basketball be a bigger part and more important part of their lives, and then him not really being a very good defensive leader at all. And just in general, the perception of LeBron has taken a huge hit, and that really couldn't come at a worse time. And I just don't think that there's going to be a 2019 free agent that's going to see that opportunity and be especially excited about it. But with all that said, that is going to be the end of today's video, and I thank you all very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Once again, my name is Tucker. If you missed any of my previous videos, then be sure to check out the boxes on screen. Thanks again, and I'll see you all next time.